Good evening, Internet. This is a 2014 Volkswagen Touareg, and we are going to replace the water pump, and this is going to be a very detailed guide authored by someone who's never done this before on a Touareg, and we're going to get to it. In order to do this job, you're going to want tools. Those are tools. OEM. Lastly, you'll definitely want a water pump. There's the part number that I'm going to be putting on this 2014 with a 3.6 liter VR. Yeah. Alright, so the first step we're going to do is we're going to remove this engine cover. Alright, it's off. Just gently over there. So our next step, with the serpentine belt still attached, we're going to remove, well, not remove, but rather just loosen these 3 6mm Allen headed bolts on the water pump pulley. Alright, now it's time to get the serpentine belt off, so we're just gonna put a 17mm socket on the tensioner, push down, it'll free up the belt on the alternator, and you can pull it right off. Now, for this particular job, one of the only instances where you'll actually need a rather not ordinary tool, I guess you'd call it, is if you plan on replacing your timing or your serpentine tensioner, which you'll need an M10 triple square bit to remove that. I'm going to take it off just to get it out of the way, but I won't be replacing it right now. I'm going to replace it later on. We are going to take this thing out now, just very tenderly, and that's that. I'm going to put it here in our parts pile. Alright, now it's time to finish removing our 3 Allen headed bolts so we can get the pulley off and finally see the water pump that we are replacing. Alright, pulley's coming off. This is a good stopping point, probably to have a beer or, I don't know, do anything but work on this car. Okay, you've had your beer. We're gonna pull this vacuum line off. This is a vacuum operated water pump, from what I understand. And now we just have to remove another 3 Torx bits, or triple square bits rather, and then this water pump is going to be released. Okay, we're gonna take a brief intermission from working up top, and we're gonna take off what's left of my skid plate. There is 1 10mm there, and then a couple 10mm down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 on the other side, as well as another 2. If your car is normal, probably 3, but mine clearly is operating at a deficiency here, so we're gonna make this skid plate fly off real quick. The reason for the skid plate to come off is so we can do our part to protect our environment. Please join me in that movement. We're just going to place this under there to catch any coolant that comes out. Anyways, now we're going to use the second part of this job where we need an out of the ordinary tool. This is another triple square bit, or whatever you want to call it. It's an M6 triple square. We're going to use this M6 tool to remove the last 3 bolts holding our water pump onto the Touareg. Now at this point, your coolant should be drained. However, I don't know where the drain cock thing is on this car, so we're just gonna let it fly. Get these out of here, and we will be on our way to the next step. Alright, now we just have to get the water pump off the car. I'm just gonna try and pry it out right there between the block and the pump. Nice and gentle, because you don't really want to screw up anything at this point, because we are almost done. Uh-oh, coolant's coming out. Woohoo! Come on, girl. So after a bit of you know, a little bit of fighting with it, it's starting to come out, so I'm just going to keep working at it, and it'll be out of here. The water pump is finally free. I'm just going to quickly grab it out of here. It's going to make a big splash. pull that over, huh? Very nice. All right, we're gonna go ahead and compare our old water pump right here. This one has 118,000 miles, and I believe it is original, based on how not interested it was in coming out of the car. And here's our new one, new pulley, nice and clean. And it is about to go in this car for the next who knows how long. Let's put it in. It's time for the big meeting. Oh, she's getting a little tight here at the end. Oh, there she goes. Hello, new water pump. All right, so the water pump is in. I have all the bolts hand tight right now, and I added just the smallest dot, like the smallest dot of thread locker. This is probably not the best idea, but I did it anyways. And I'm gonna cross my fingers that they come out when I need them to come out next time I have to do this, which will hopefully be never. Just heads up, I didn't do this because I needed to. I did it as preventative maintenance. I see these cars have the need for a water pump at 40 and 60,000 miles. I'm at 120 just about, so I figured this would not be a bad way to spend a couple $100 in a few hours of my time just to make sure this car doesn't ever leave me stranded. Anyways, time to tighten up the bolts and put everything back together. It's all reverse of the removal, and then we're gonna go to the fun part, which is bleeding the system, which I can assure you is not going to go as well as I want it to. Here we go.